All right. Now that we have changed our homepage on our private EC2 instance, we're going to open up a new tab on our terminal, and we are going to connect to our public EC2 instance. All right. And this is going to be our load balancer. All right. So the idea of the load balancer is that it's going to redirect traffic. So to my private EC2 instances that are running my applications. In this case, we have one load balancer redirecting traffic to one EC2 instance running an application. But as you scale, if you wanted to use this pattern, you could use multiple private EC2 instances running your applications, and then you could use the public EC2 instance to balance the load between those private ones. All right. There's also other ways to do this. There's actual load balancers in AWS that we might use later on in this workshop, but for now we're just going to use an EC2 instance so we can kind of demonstrate the concepts of how public versus private, reverse proxy, all of these things work. Okay. So we're going to say SSH, and then we're going to SSH into our public EC2 instance. So if I do curl localhost, I should see, and I do the NGINX homepage. All right. So what I want to do is I want to CD into the etc file, and then I'm going to ls, and you can see these are all of the files that are in that folder. Then I'm going to cd into the NGINX file. Also, for clarity, I'm looking at a file path that I'm copying right now from a resource that I will link in this lesson. So I have not memorized where the configuration file for the NGINX server is. I'm just following documentation. All right, then I'm going to cd into the well, now we're actually there, I think. So now these are all of the files within it, and then we are going to edit this nginx.conf. All right, so we are going to do let's try nano first, just to see if it says we can't edit it, which probably not. And yet, files unwritable, so we're going to get out of it. And we're going to use sudo to use it as the root user. All right, and now we're in it. So all of this is the different configuration that is just by default set up for us. All right, so here's server. It's listening on port 80, and it's serving, right here's that file that we just changed, user share nginx HTML. So it's going to this directory, and it's looking for the index.html page, and it's serving it. All right. So you can see then here, like if it's a 404 error, what does it get served? Other errors, what gets served? All right. So what we need to do is we need to add a location block, and we need to go ahead and add something called, one of the properties will be called proxy pass, and that will let us redirect the traffic. So we're to say location, and then we are going to indent a little bit, and then we're going to say proxy underscore pass. Okay. And then at first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it wrong because I want to show you what some of the how to read error messages and stuff like this. And I'm showing you how to do it wrong because this is a mistake that I made last week when I was studying to show you guys how to do this. So I'm going to go to my private instance, because what I'm saying I'm going to tell it to do is I want to tell it that I want to pass the traffic to this IP address. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save the file by doing Control X and then yes, and then enter. Okay. So now what I need to do is I need to say sudo systemctl restart nginx. All right, and now you're to see the error, okay? So it says that it failed with exited with an error code, all right? And then it says that we can use this command here, systemctl status nginx.service, in order to learn more. So that's what we're going to go. And now you can see that here is what it was trying to do. All All right, so it's saying that we have an error, invalid number of arguments in location directive in etc NGINX, NGINX.conf at line 46. Okay, so this tells us that we know exactly where the error is. It is in line 46 of our configuration file. So if we go and look, it's going to be the line that we just added, but you could actually count all of these lines, and I'm sure there is a beautiful, nice way to correct it, to like scan and search by line that I don't know. Please let me know if you find it. So what it's mad at is that we don't have the HTTP here, and it's mad that we don't have the semicolon. So let's start with the semicolon and leave the HTTP out and see if it gives us a better error when it. But see how it says that invalid number of arguments? So it's basically saying that like it didn't know when this line was ending. All right, so now that we saved that, let's go ahead and restart it again. You can see that we get that same message. So let's go ahead and do the service systemctl status for that. And you can see that it exited invalid number of arguments at 40, failed to start, test failed. Okay. Well, I was hoping for a better error message, but that's okay. Let's see if we can get there ourselves. All right, we're going to add now an HTTP : ///. And then we're also going to add, I'm not going to add a port, and I'm going to see how it goes. All right, so then I'm going to go ahead with sudo systemctl restart NGINX, and we get another error message. So let's read and see what's going on. Starting, invalid number of arguments in location directive. All right. So then what I'm going to do now, because I keep getting this, so clearly what I'm doing is not fixing it. And see, I'm glad I showed this to you guys, because we can debug it together. All right, so let's try to figure out if we can find the issue. All right, so theirs is at line 35. These are all the different things that they've tried. So maybe I just need a slash. Let's see. All right, so now it makes me kind of want to actually count the lines, but I'm not going to do that quite yet. I'm seeing that we might need a slash. So we're going to say like at this location, do that, redirect to this. All right, let's go ahead and see if that worked. Oh, and it did work. Okay, so that was what it was. It was the slash, and I'm guessing 2. All right, so let's count to see if that was line 42. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Well, that's confusing. All right. Anywho, it was that we didn't put this slash here. Maybe it does, line counting doesn't work how I think it works. But it gives you the good direction. So now let's get rid of this HTTP and let's see if it would still work. And this is a great way. Oh, and it won't, but let's see what the error message is. But this is a good way to kind of see like what's allowable, what's not. You don't want to just copy a tutorial that you find online. Make sure you really understand it by understanding like what exactly is making this work. Oh, was it line 47? Oh, it was line 46, and I only got to 42. That's why. I don't know what I'm thinking. Okay, so now we see that the invalid URL prefix. Okay, so that makes sense. invalid URL prefix on line 47. Okay, so that makes sense. That's why. And then line 46 would be this one. So it was telling us exactly which line had the problem, and there's not very much on that line. So that actually gives you a lot of information for when you're debugging. All right, so I'm going to add the HTTP in, and then I'm going to get rid of the semicolon because that's another thing that last week I had an issue with. Let's see what the error message says there. Unexpected. Okay, so it's saying in line 48, it has an unexpected closing curly brace, which makes sense that it's because we're missing a semicolon. Okay, so see how you can, I don't really know how this whole file works. I don't know all of the ins and outs, but I'm able to learn by kind of testing out different theories, reading error messages, doing some Stack Overflowing. And if you had AI out, you could also ask AI, and I'm sure AI would know. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do systemctl restart NGINX. So when we do curl localhost, we see you did it. If you see this page, you successfully completed the first challenge in the Deploy in Public workshop. Congrats. All right. So now the final test is if we can see it when we hit the public IP address. And when we hit it, what do we see? I opened it like that, but I don't know if that's how I want to open it. I'm just going to copy and paste the IP address. Of course. And okay. All right, I had to reload it because it had cached it, I'm thinking. But it says you did it. If you see this page, you successfully completed the first challenge in the Deploy in Public workshop. Congrats. Awesome. All right, so pat yourselves on the back. If you made it this far and you're seeing what I'm seeing, you too have done it. And I will post the next assignment and solution video soon. Good job.